Death Spiral, the only anime podcast that hasn't broken up over that DreamWorks money. We're still together. We're still recording. I know some of you were afraid last time.
Yeah.
It might have seemed...
About that.
Oh.
I've been talking to my agent, and they have promised me that should they ever make a Kung Fu Panda 6, I will be in it.
You've been told that you're in the mix. That's what you're saying.
And so with that in mind, they have advised me to distance myself from you due to those, frankly, barbaric and inhumane comments that you made over the weekend.
Oh, when I said on the podcast that I was going to kill the president, Mr. FBI, this is not a joke.
Yeah, that's the one.
They didn't like that?
They didn't like that.
I thought that was funny.
But here's the thing. I told them to go fuck themselves right to their greasy little faces, because I'm in it for the anime.
See, I would have thought your disgusting anime habits would have been enough to lose you pretty much any respectable job.
Did you miss the part where I said I was going to be in Kung Fu Panda 6? Okay. Anime.
Great. Kung Fu Panda, that's an anime.
Yeah, technically.
Jackie Chan's in that. Jackie Chan was in Jackie Chan Adventures. That's an anime. He was also in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, also an anime.
Wait, was Jackie Chan in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies?
He was. He was in the last one.
Oh, right.
And his accent was so fucking crazy. I thought that it was like an Italian guy. I thought it was an old Italian man.
Which would make sense for why they love pizza so much, right?
It's Master
if they were
Splinter.
Raised by like a kindly old Italian dude.
Okay, Master Splinter is a mutated rat who gained human-level intelligence from a lab in New York City.
Well, okay, so that is actually a point of contention. I am, in fact, a TMNT scholar.
Oh, great. Now he's going to fight me on this.
Yeah, I do know quite a bit more than you on the subject.
All right.
And so Master Splinter being
this
a
guy
rat
hasn't even watched
that
the movie.
gains human-like intelligence and kung fu skills, some would even say supernatural kung fu abilities, like that of a panda. That is a recent interpretation of the character. And in fact, the original version from when I was growing up, decades and decades ago, he was a kung fu master that got turned into a rat mutant.
Yeah, that's dumb. I hate that. You haven't watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles recently, which is my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the rest of the world's. And the canon is pretty clear that he was a rat who was genetically modified to become human intelligent.
And a kung fu master.
And the kung fu master. Well, no, it didn't make him a kung fu master.
Surely a rat having human-level intelligence played some part in its ability to master kung fu.
No, it had nothing to do with it. What?
Are you saying that regular rats could master kung fu?
If they were bipedal, yes, they absolutely could. The thing that changed was that Master Splinter gained human-level intelligence, escaped from his cage, made his way down into the sewers of New York City, where he's lived his entire life. Again, I should stress this, not under Chinatown. That's made explicit in the movie, so you can't come at me from that angle. Yet somehow he develops a Chinese accent.
Wait, hold on. If he doesn't live under Chinatown, where specifically what borough do they live in?
According to the newest movie, they live basically like a block or two away from Madison Square Garden.
Okay, that's right in the middle of Manhattan.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And so this accent should be an old weird Italian guy.
I think
there's no reason it should be a Chinese guy. I don't understand.
Okay, hear me out. Instead of Jackie Chan, we get, and you know who I'm gonna say,
Joe Montana.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh shit.
Hey yo, Turtles! What the fuck is happening over here?
I think Joe Montana would be a much better fit. Plus his range. He's got a great voice. He's already a voice actor. He works great on the screen.
What about Joe Pesci? He already looks like a rat.
You know what? I know this would sound weird because he is a rat, but I think Joe Pesci's voice is too high-pitched for Master Splinter.
Too squeaky?
Sorry, Pesci. Yeah, he's a little too squeaky.
Yeah, maybe we can fit him there as some kind of fish man.
I mean, okay, here's the only argument I'm willing to listen to. See, in the new one, counter to what you're saying, Master Splinter very deliberately learns Kung Fu by watching martial arts movies in order to protect the turtles. He learns it specifically so he can protect the little baby turtles.
Interesting.
So if you want to say maybe he developed a Chinese accent because he was mimicking all the martial arts movies he was watching, maybe I can believe that. Maybe.
That's a stretch, and also makes him vaguely, like, kind of racist. Like, he shouldn't be doing that.
Okay, he's a sentient rat. We can't put the same sociological implications on him. He is still a rat living in a sewer. I'm not willing to cancel Master Splinter over something like that.
I'm just saying the version where he is a Kung Fu master who is an ancient enemy of the Foot Clan ninjas, who are the main villains.
Nobody cares about that, dog. No one cares.
It makes more sense. It's more believable that he was an enemy of the Foot that then gets splashed with radioactive rat DNA and gets turned into a horrible rat man.
Yeah, if you're 50 years old, the turtles are about animals becoming human sentient and learning Kung Fu. That's what they're about now, in the modern age. That's
But a
what
rat can't
Ninja Turtles
learn
is
Kung
about.
Fu. You have to learn it as a person and then turn into a rat and then teach it to the turtles. It's the only way it makes sense.
Watch the movie. The movie. I can't deal with this. You know, just watch the movie. You can't review a movie until you've seen it, and you can't review a rat's accent until you've heard it.
Oh, I'm not going to watch anything that Seth Rogen's had his hands on.
Yeah?
That's my line. I'm coming down hard on.
Is this a reboot of your character where a big part of it is going to be that you're a Seth Rogen hater?
A reboot. That's always been in the background, and careful listeners would absolutely know. They've been paying they've been paying attention, following along, seeing the clues. They know all of the secret messages that I've been leaving for them throughout the show.
Oh, yeah. Well, then explain this to me, because every time you reference weed, your reference point is Pineapple Express. So what's going on there?
Well, there's got to be one exception that proves the rule.
And every time you talk about high school, you describe yourself as a freak and a geek. So I really don't. Where are you coming up with this shit?
He's got me on the back ropes with that one.
Got him on the back walls with that one.
No, you cornered me. I'm a secret Seth Rogen lover.
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. As you noticed from the mini episode last week, I was indeed out of the office, AFK, watching movies and television.
It was really nice not having you around.
Yes, I bet. It was nice for the audience. They only had to listen to probably about 2 minutes of my voice instead of a full hour and a half.
I kid, of course. No, what I want to say is that it was really nice getting to meet all of you at the meet and greet handshake event that we did last week. There were so many,
yes, of course,
so many thousands of you out there. It was really heartwarming to see.
Yes, only thousands. I wish more people could come next time. I promise we'll definitely sort something out a little further in advance. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, I did spend a lot of time in front of screens, in front of manga, in front of anime, in front of, well, actually not that much anime, mostly live action stuff.
Yeah?
I did watch one episode of anime, so I have been on the grind. I have been up in these anime tunnels.
He's been out here doing this for you, folks. Consuming this absolute poison to take it away from the burden of the world.
Even on vacation, I'm down in these anime mines. I'm digging the anime coal.
All right, what'd you find? What'd you find down there?
Well, the first thing I found was, of course, Longlegs.
Yeah.
Which is
baby.
One of the best anime I've seen in a while. Really great stuff.
Number one favorite Junji Ito adaptation for sure.
Absolutely. And you know what? Nicolas Cage is probably the only person who could really pull off a Junji Ito character. He has the range.
I mean, honestly, joking aside, I 100% believe that. I would love to see Junji Ito ex Nicolas Cage in the future. Like in an official capacity.
Yes. I know there's already a pretty good live-action Uzumaki movie, and I like that movie. But it could only be better with Nicolas Cage playing basically take your pick. I was thinking first the Pottery Dad.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Pottery Dad as well.
Pottery Dad would be
just
great.
Based off of his work in Color Out of Space alone. Like, he makes a good dad descending into madness type.
Oh, he's got that on lock. Mm-hmm. But pretty much anything.
Now, if we could time travel, bear with me here. Imagine a Nicolas Cage taken out of Vampire's Kiss and shoved running and screaming through the streets of Amigara as he screams about his hole.
Constantly in the street screaming about hole.
Yeah. It's my hole. It's my hole. I gotta go find my hole.
Don't say it like that. Jesus Christ.
That's how you would say it.
Ugh. Now the listeners got to hear that. They got to have that in their mind. Come on.
Come on. You're gonna
Come on.
cut that clip and have a lot of fun with it later on.
Absolutely. And of course, we watched 2 other great anime. I finally made you, at gunpoint, watch the 2 greatest live-action anime ever made. Adam Chaplin and Hundreds of Beavers.
Can we take like just a minute to talk about these? Because I really genuinely enjoyed both of them.
Yes, and all it took was a threat on your life to watch them.
Well, you make it sound like it's a whole deal, but it's not that much effort to threaten my life. People do it all the time.
Well, we are Americans.
Yeah.
So I had been saying for a long time that Adam Chaplin is as close to a live-action anime as anyone could possibly make, and I stand by that.
I had a prepared statement regarding that, and that is, I regret to inform everybody, but anime, turns out it's over. We solved anime. It's been solved, put to rest, and the Italians did it in 2014, apparently, with Adam Chaplin.
Yes,
because it is the goddamn greatest anime that has ever been made in the history of film.
Back in, I believe, 96, we've got the Fist of the North Star movie, which obviously we're both big fans of.
that
pretty good adaptation.
Stumbled in a drunken frenzy so that Adam Chaplin could run like Oscar Pistorius.
I'm trying to, much like the Brundlefly, smoosh these 2 things together, kind of intertwine their genetic code to create the canonically greatest like JoJo movie that could exist. It's somewhere between the 96 Fist of the North Star and 2014's Adam Chaplin. Somewhere between those 2 poles is an actually good live action JoJo movie. I see it so clearly in my mind.
I mean, I definitely liked this a lot more than the existing JoJo movie that we got, unfortunately.
I know.
Sorry,
and I like that
Takashi
movie.
Miike, but
I like that movie.
Unnamed Italian director from 2014 with a budget of $70 US. He takes the cake.
Yes. This is truly the triumph of human ingenuity is Adam Chaplin. And something I could equally say as well about Hundreds of Beavers, which is a guy using his pocket change to make the first funny movie of the century. Really got to give it up.
That is the other movie that we watch, and it was a, pardon my phrasing, but triumph of the will. It is one guy just absolutely doing his best to make the most authentic Looney Tunes experience that is ever put on screen. It's got heart, it's got laughs, it's got action, drama, pathos. It's got it all.
Green screens.
Yeah, green screens. So many.
Practical effects.
Well, a lot more green screens than practical effects, but it's the way he's using the green screens.
You've never seen a green screen used like this. He's whipping it around.
I genuinely cannot say that I have. I mean, just the joke where the cardboard cutout of the house falls down and then the entire scene falls down around him after as a follow-up Like, I still think about that on a daily basis.
It's perfect. It's beautiful.
I love this movie. Go watch it as many times as possible. Send this man money. Petition him to do a DVD release. I want to own this on DVD, and he has not put it out in any kind of pressed disc format yet. It's a crime.
It is weird, obviously it's at this point it's well-worn territory to absolutely bag on WB for essentially every single decision they've made recently. But I think an underappreciated aspect of the WB's fall is that they don't make like Looney Tunes anymore.
I mean,
they use those characters.
The
IP
sure.
is being used, but they don't make Looney Tunes.
I mean, did you see Space Jam 2?
I really tried to bring myself to watch that movie. There was definitely a moment where I was like staring at the play button on the screen and just trying to will myself to click it, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't fucking do it. I couldn't do it.
Disappointed. You disappointed LeBron with that one.
Yo, I'm on Braun's side. I like Braun. I don't even watch basketball that much, but I watch LeBron games sometimes. The dude is a legend. But man, I don't even think it's his fault. Well, some of it's his fault. I did hear that he had written into his contract he was allowed to kill jokes, which is, not great for a comedy film. Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I'm sure Jordan had that written into his contract too.
Maybe, but like a lot of the jokes in the original Space Jam are like at Michael Jordan's expense,
Yeah. I mean,
from what I hear, that's not true for LeBron.
Okay. Well, he doesn't have a successful baseball career to fall back on.
Yes. Okay. We're falling into the trap I mentioned earlier. We should not review movies we haven't seen.
No.
Let's talk about some shit we have seen. Nate, besides the perfect anime movies we watched, have you watched anime?
Oh, I watched some anime for sure.
Oh, thank God.
I think I definitely watched some anime.
Okay, let's hear about it.
In fact, I sat down and watched we talked about this last time. I hadn't watched it yet then, but I've come around and I have seen the current episodes of the Red Cat Ramen adaptation.
Oh, this disgusting shit makes me fucking sick to my stomach.
Well, you'll be happy to hear that unfortunately I cannot follow them to the anime. It's not good. Like,
oh, thank God.
Yeah. In fact, it looks quite bad. And it really exemplifies the worry that I had when I heard they were adapting this manga into an anime, in that the format itself does not lend to being visually interesting in many ways. Once you get past the novelty of the cats are running a ramen shop, in the manga, it is a bit easier to digest because it's presented as these kind of very short format little gag
I get it.
pages. They're short because they're cats. Get it?
I get it.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Yeah, you're digesting, yeah.
And then you got to digest it before you can cough it back up as a fully formed hairball.
Yes. Or as a fully formed anime. I understand.
You get it? You get it?
I get it. Now, of course, this probably, watching the cats themselves actually in live action-ish, as close to live action as you're going to get, making the disgusting ramen, that truly must have been off-putting for you. I think that was probably the nail in the coffin, right? Watching their hair drift into the broth and then the human beings, I assume, that are eating it, suck it up.
How many times do I have to tell you that they go through special training? This is made incredibly clear. They go through special training to not shed hair.
I don't buy it.
In the ramen.
I don't buy it.
They never do. They never do.
I do not buy it.
We're getting past the point here. You would think that could be a reason, right? That would turn people off the show, but it's actually, like so many other disappointing premieres, it's because of the very poorly used CGI and overuse of digital assets that make it really visually hard to watch. And honestly, I think that they may be saving some money on frame animation, because we're like, in a lot of shots, we're dipping down to like 12 frames per second. It's choppy. It's choppy as fuck.
What could there possibly be to animate in the show about cats running a ramen shop?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it works better on the page than animated, because it just doesn't look that good to animate. It's people sitting down, eating ramen, and cats talking to each other. Well, usually standing in one spot because they are accomplishing a task in the kitchen.
They're at their cooking stations.
They're at their cooking station. So
yes, chef.
In the manga, it's like talking heads usually, and there's like a gag, or they'll say a pun at each other. In this, it's just kind of like boring because you're watching it, you're waiting for them to do something interesting, and then they just don't. So unfortunately, I cannot, against my wishes, I cannot recommend this anime.
Thank God.
It turned out kind of bad.
Well, what could they possibly be using the 3D effects for? I mean, these cats are not getting into like high-speed car chases.
No, they're using it for, honestly, stuff that is not hard to poorly animate in a 2D style. It kind of baffles me that they would use 3D rigging for a character standing up from a stool and walking 5 feet. But
sure, they could have fucked this up on pen and paper.
Yeah, exactly. And it would have been 10 times better. While still being bad.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it's bad.
Yeah, I bet you are.
I don't want people
We know
watching
you're
this.
a notorious cat hater.
Look, you know how recently, like, a bunch of anime stuff has been transitioning into real life? You know, we've got all these cosplay cafes. People are buying all this, like, you know, 1-to-1 size merch. People are trying to make real Gundams.
Honestly, I'm disgusted by it.
It makes me sick.
Yeah.
And what makes me even sicker is the idea of somebody trying to emulate this idea and create an actual cat ramen shop.
Well, I think that may be a bit beyond someone's ability to get truly functioning as a ramen shop. Maybe you could have a ramen shop run by people that just has a bunch of cats around, which I will agree,
disgusting.
if that's the case, if that is what someone does, that is truly disgusting, because real cats suck.
That makes me fucking sick. That makes me sick to my
It
goddamn
makes
stomach.
me sick to the stomach to think of a real cat anywhere near my delicious bowl of succulent
It's jumping
ramen.
up on the counter. It's getting their fucking paws everywhere.
Yeah, it's shoving their bare anus in my face.
Oh, don't say it. Please don't be crass.
Yeah.
There's no need for that. There's no need to be crass.
There's
Now,
just like
I
a
mean,
litter
we
box
could-
behind the counter or on top of the counter. What
okay,
would
now
the
you really
papers
are.
think, Remy?
You're actually making me sick. You're actually making me sick to my stomach.
All things I've encountered in real life before.
If we had sort of an actual Master Splinter scenario where these cats were genetically modified and became human sentient and learned ramen cooking from, I don't know, is there like a Jiro Dreams of Sushi equivalent for ramen?
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is.
Probably.
Yeah.
They watch that in the sewers and they decide that's going to be their lifelong
They
pursuit.
they fall down into the sewers with nothing but a copy of Tom Popo.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they watch it over and over and over again.
They really hate turtles by the end.
They're making turtle ramen.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of, this is a weird confluence. I have to say, have you seen Police Story?
I have not. The Jackie Chan film.
Yes, the Jackie Chan film trilogy.
No, I have not seen Police Story 1, 2, or 3, nor have I seen the prequels, Police Academy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's a real shame. It makes me very sad to hear this because a little while back, you know, Michelle Yeoh won an Oscar, right? So I was doing Summer of Michelle Yeoh.
The Summer of Yeoh.
Yeah. You know, I watched a bunch of her early Hong Kong action stuff. And as it happens, she happens to be in Police Story 3 with Jackie Chan. She's the female lead. In that movie, Jackie Chan, who in Police Story you may remember, not you, but the person who's listening to this, who is more cultured than you, Nate. Jackie Chan is a Hong Kong police officer who becomes a super cop. And by the third movie, he has such a big reputation that his department sends him to mainland China as kind of a cultural exchange. And he is partnered up with Michelle Yeoh, who is the hard-ass mainland Chinese police lady.
Sure.
And,
classic pair-up.
Yes, here's where it comes together. It turns out, and, you know, this isn't exactly a stretch of the imagination, but Jackie Chan is extremely racist against Chinese people in that movie. And when he goes... And the movie itself is also, too. And when they go to Michelle Yeoh's village, her hometown, he is constantly making jokes about how hick yokel Chinese people eat nothing but turtle dick. That's like the joke they make about rural Chinese people is they're constantly eating like random animal dicks and turtle dicks and stuff.
All right. Yeah, he sounds just like racist at home.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. That movie's great. God, everybody should check out Police Story 3.
I wonder how he feels about that one now that he's like all on board for the CCP.
I don't know, you know, it'd be interesting to hear what he has to say about a lot of his early career. You know, we know how he feels about his daughter being in action movies, so we got that out of the way. Anyway, that's just a side story. Have you watched any other anime besides this incredibly disgusting, foul Red Cat Ramen?
Well, I did in fact watch a couple other things. One I won't spend too much time on because it's a bit old news at this point, but I finally brought myself to watch Suzume, everybody's favorite Makoto Shinkai. That guy making movies still. This came out a while ago. It took me a while to get around to it.
Yes, and this is the movie that is based on that one scene from Cabaret where the lady dances on the chair.
Yeah, so I did not know really what this movie was about. I knew it involved the opening and closing of doors in some capacity, but what's up with the chair? That guy got turned into a chair, and then that underage teenage girl sat on his, what I assume is his adult face.
Oh, you better believe it.
That made it weird.
Oh, she was riding that chair, man. She was riding that chair all over the place.
That made the whole thing a little bit weird for me, and it honestly distracted me from what was going on with the plot. There were cats involved, I think, at some point. An old man. Like I said, doors were definitely there, but I could not stop thinking about why Makoto Shinkai did that. Why did he put that in his movie? And, you know, I tried to justify it away. You know, maybe it was a thing. Maybe it was something that the actors suggested. But then I remembered that this is an animated film, and he decided to draw or have someone draw everything that happened in the movie. So it had to be a conscious decision, right? For him to make that teenage girl sit on that man's face.
You know, it is the central visual metaphor of the entire movie, so I have to imagine it was very intentional, yes.
Yeah. It gave me some... Well, it gave me some off vibes.
The vibes seemed off to you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he saw the musical number from Cabaret, the Sally Bowles number, where she does... you know, the things with the chair.
Sure.
Everybody remembers this.
I mean, it's the only thing anybody remembers about Cabaret.
Yes.
That and the Nazis.
Everybody remembers that. Yeah, and the Nazis. We all remember that, you know, Sally Bowles, of course, very famously played by such incredible actresses as Michelle Williams, Gina Gershon at one point. Molly Ringwald was Sally Bowles.
Wait, really? Gina Gershon?
Yeah. Carrie Delevingne plays Sally Bowles in the newest version. I don't know if you saw that yet, but that one looks incredibly bad. Eddie Redmayne is the MC in that version.
No, I have not.
He's fucking terrible. I don't know who decided to do that,
I didn't know you were such a cabaret diehard.
Well, cabaret. There would be no Moulin Rouge if there was no cabaret. We all know this.
No Chicago.
No Chicago either. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is a weight-bearing pillar of many of my interests. But clearly also of Makoto Shinkai's interest because, man, you can't really see a girl riding around on a human chair without thinking about Sally Bowles.
Yeah. I was not thinking about Sally Bowles. I gotta say.
You weren't?
No.
Really?
I was not, unfortunately. I was mostly just thinking about the horrible implications of which parts of the chair then are his other body parts.
Okay, because I kept thinking, man, what if Alan Cumming had played the male lead? Couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, okay.
He has that incredible accent of his. I could listen to that all day.
I don't want to get caught up too long on Alan Cumming. Let's move on. But that was my prevailing thought about Suzume. Why'd she sit on that guy's face?
It's weird that she rides that chair.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to take just one parting shot at why the chair only has 3 legs?
Hey, you know what they say about a guy with 3 legs?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Do you want
well, okay. If we're gonna extrapolate that metaphor, what is the fact that the chair was missing a leg? It was a 4-legged chair. That's missing a leg. Does that mean he's have 2 dicks?
He clearly has 2 dicks. That is exactly what I thought. Yes,
that is the takeaway everyone should be paying attention to. By the end of that movie, it is confirmed 100% that man has 2 dicks.
Let me quickly. I'm googling it on TV tropes. Suzume. Yes, the TV trope says it is because the character has 2 dicks.
All right,
mystery solved.
Putting that one to rest. That's definitive.
Yeah.
I did watch one other thing. All right. If we want to keep it on the anime.
Yes. Tell me.
If we want to keep riding that anime train.
Trine.
I watched Alya Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian.
Yes. Now, this one was initially confusing to me because I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is a manga called Alyosha, which is about a Russian girl, a high school girl who transfers into a Japanese high school, and she mostly just speaks Russian. Now, I think the main difference is Alyosha is a trained murderer.
Oh, okay. Like many Russians.
Yes. In anime. Now, I assume this was a bit of a sticky point for me. I assume Alya, who hides her feelings in Russian, does she ever kill anybody on the show?
No, she does not. Unless you consider slaying hearts.
Kill him with kindness.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't count that. No.
Okay, then no. 0 deaths so far.
All right. Okay, well, then what does she do?
Well...
Because that sounds boring as hell.
Well, she sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. It's pretty straightforward. This is basically a romance anime, rom-com anime, with no conflict other than the completely fabricated one presented by the premise, which is pretty par for the course for a lot of rom-com. I'm not, trying to make it sound like that's a unique issue to this show. But the plot basically is we have Alya, and Masachika is the male lead, and they are childhood friends, right?
Uh-huh.
And she is half Russian. Her father is Russian. Her mother is Japanese. And she grew up
many such cases
in Tokyo until she was like middle school age, and then she went to go live with her father in Russia for middle school, and then came back to Japan for high school.
She only lived in Russia for like 2 years?
She lived in Russia for like 5 years-ish, it seems like. So maybe like grade school and most of middle school.
Okay.
Yeah. But
that's fine then.
Okay, well, first of all, I guess I can jump right into this point. The way they treat her half citizenship is absolutely wild. As I mentioned, she was born in Japan, lived there until she was like 12, only lived out of the country for like 5 years tops and then came back.
Okay.
And everybody in her school and everybody in the show literally talks to her and treats her like she is a foreign national.
Like how? Give me an example.
Like literally, okay, so they do a flashback episode, right?
Right.
Where it shows her coming back to Japan after living in Russia for a few years. And actually, it also kind of flashes back to some of her time in a Russian school, which is surprisingly almost exactly like a Japanese school for some reason.
Whoa, that's wild.
Yeah, wild. Except everyone speaks broken Russian. And so she comes back and transfers back into a Japanese school, and literally, like, the scene is all of her classmates standing around her being like, wow, your Japanese is so good for a foreigner. It's crazy. Did you have to study hard to learn Japanese? And it's like, she's lived there. She was born in Japan and lived there until she was basically a middle schooler.
Jesus Christ. Okay, is there a possibility that this is making a comment or some kind of observation about that?
If they have not levied a punchline on it at all yet. It has been played completely straight so far.
That's unfortunate.
And so I got off track with that one because it was so wild to me how they were treating her in the show. But the plot is she dual citizen. She speaks fluent Russian and Japanese. And so the hook of the show is that her crush, Masachika, is, she will just blatantly say what she's explicitly feeling, but in Russian so that nobody else can understand.
Sure.
And she uses it as a form of teasing him, right?
Yes.
She thinks she's being clever and being like, "Oh, I'm saying that I love him directly to his face, but he doesn't understand that." Ha ha ha.
Whoa, that's crazy.
But can you guess where I'm going with this?
I mean, well, answer me this question first. Could you replace Russian with literally anything else that does the same thing?
Yes, absolutely. It's of no consequence to the actual DNA of the show.
Yeah, fantastic. That's pretty much my suspicion. Let me guess, somebody who speaks Russian shows up.
You're very, very close. Can you guess who it is?
Oh, shit. There's a specific person? Is it Putin?
No. No. It's the guy. He secretly studied Russian. The gag of the show is that he understands everything that she's saying when she thinks that he doesn't. There. I've explained it to you.
Oh, so there's no point of the show. The show has no point.
Other than the fact that they won't just come out and directly say to each other. It is a back and forth game of her constantly admitting how much she loves him in Russian, and then him hearing and understanding it, and then him being like, well, it would embarrass her if I gave away that I understand Russian. Why can't she just confess to me in Japanese? There, that's the hook.
Wow.
That's the show.
Okay. So a couple of murders really would have spiced this whole thing up.
Yeah, definitely. Now there are a couple other layers and flavors they've haphazardly slapped on.
Does somebody speak Spanish?
Somebody speaks English.
Okay, well that's less exciting to me.
Yeah, a little less exciting.
Yeah.
So to spice this up, what they've done is they've introduced what I can only describe as multiple sister angles.
Oh boy.
And so we have Alya, who, as I mentioned, grew up in Japan, lived in Russia for a short while, moved back. She has a sister who did the same thing with her. And so we have our male lead, Masachika, and he explains that the reason he can understand Alya is because when he was a little kid, he had a neighbor who was from Russia, or at least had a Russian parent, and he wanted to learn Russian so that he understood what she was saying.
Because she spoke Russian with her dad.
Now, here's the thing. That neighbor girl that he learned Russian for, that he had a little kid crush on, was not Alya, but Alya's sister.
Okay.
And then on top of that, we have his own sister, who is just a brocon fetishist and has a crush on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but she doesn't speak any other languages.
She speaks English.
She speaks English.
Yeah.
Okay, but like everybody speaks English. Who cares?
She speaks, her like whole thing is that she is a brocon like manga otaku, and her quirk is that she peppers in American English phrases into her Japanese to sound cool.
Like what? Give me one.
Like she's always calling him my brother in English.
But what?
Yeah, I'm not sure what. I think it may be a reference. I'm not sure if they're going for something there. They're doing
Is it like brother?
They're doing
my
it
brother.
with frequency, and she does like this pose when she does it, where it makes me feel like it's a reference I'm not getting.
It's not Attitude Era Hulk Hogan.
Brother. It could be. She could be really into 90s and 80s American wrestling. Distinct possibility.
Who else says brother?
On top of the incest manga.
Oh, you know what? The guy from Lost who's in the hatch. He calls everybody brother. Brother.
Oh, you know what? Waka from Final Fantasy X. He calls everybody brother.
Well, he says brother.
Brother.
Because he's like doing a Samoan thing, even though he's clearly not Samoan.
Yeah. You know, that's a whole thing that we don't have to get into.
That's a whole thing.
But yes, that has been Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. Made up conflict.
Great.
Explicitly to show us fan service. Did I mention that it is incredibly fan service heavy?
You know, you didn't have to mention it. I would have guessed. There doesn't seem to be anything else in the show.
The opening theme song is literally, the animation is just a parade of all of the female characters in the show, and then they're kind of doing like a switch out of different outfits, but some of those outfits are just underwear.
Great.
That's the opening animation.
Can you imagine if America hadn't been founded by, or even just like 50% less like puritanical Protestants and all these like absolute shovelware slop Hallmark rom-coms whose entire thin premise is just like somebody misunderstood somebody else, but they had fan service like these horrible anime
absolutely.
rom-coms.
In another more perfect universe, Hallmark romance like Christmas movies would all be softcore porn levels of fan service.
Yeah, they're all played exactly the same way, like the wholesome bullshit. But then every once in a while, they would just cut to like
a woman taking a shower,
taking like a horror movie shower.
Yeah.
Oh, what a more perfect world.
Oh God! All right. Well, that's it for me. That's the anime that I stumbled upon this week. Slid down into my gaping gullet.
Yeah, totally by accident.
Yeah. No, I don't have responsibility for the things that I do. When are people going to recognize that?
I'm very excited to hear.
I am a victim of circumstance.
Yes, of course. Yes, you just hit the shuffle button and just kind of silently sit there and just take it. You just take it.
I just take it.
You just take it. Let me tell you about one new premiere that me and my watch partners just took. This was as close to just hitting the shuffle button and seeing where it led that we've gone. We threw on Bye Bye Earth.
Bye bye Earth.
Bye bye Earth. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye Earth.
Now, there is no Earth, at least in the first episode.
What?
It doesn't even.
What?
We don't even come close
We've
to that.
already said bye bye?
We said bye bye apparently before the episode started. Earth is gone.
Shit.
This is a show about one human, and they are surrounded by what the official description calls animals.
Uh-huh.
But is almost immediately revealed to be essentially a garden variety salad bag of furries.
Oh, okay.
You've got your regular humans with cat ears, right?
Sure. Okay, classic.
You've got your
the Nekomimi.
extremely standard centaurs, which are not half man, half horse, 2/3 horse, 1/3 man. I don't want to get into it, but centaurs are bullshit.
It's true.
But they've got them in there. Now, you've also got mixed in with your variety pack, you've also got master splinters.
Okay, we got rat people.
Little wizened bipedal rats who are...
who could forget Dear Rat Boy?
Yeah, they're apparently they're the wizened elders, at least when in episode 1, that's what we see. But the majority seem to be human beings with cat ears on them. That is what we call animals in this world.
I mean, yeah. To be fair, if I was in this setting, I would be incredibly prejudiced against any cat-eared people. I don't know why. I think it's just a natural response, a human response, to be disgusted at that kind of abomination. But that's just me. The church does back me up, though.
Well, the idea of having a completely smooth side of your head, just no holes, nothing there, no skin flap, no hole, it does make me a little nauseous, I have to say.
Oh, man.
You know?
I want to take a quick aside. I don't know if you've read the most recent chapter of Chainsaw Man, but they do some very funny stuff with ears in that one.
Yeah.
I want to give a big shout out to that. I had a good laugh at that.
Okay. Weekly shout out to Chainsaw Man.
Love you.
Now, here's the thing, and this is not just this. This is actually very universal to the, shall we say, cat-eared people in anime and manga. Because of the limitations of the default anime style, we are always left with a big question mark when it comes to fur. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Well, are you implying like our furries furry?
When you look at a cat person, they're not typically drawn with like tufts of hair all over their bodies, right?
Well, okay, so I want to get ahead of the inevitable descent into just referencing the dangerously cheesy Chester Cheeto meme about furries. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't, but okay.
People know what I'm talking about.
I don't. Okay, yeah.
Anyway, listen, just a cat-eared girl like your standard anime cat-eared girl. That's skin. There is no fur. Maybe a thin layer of fur on the ears, maybe a little tuft at the point. Maybe some fur on the tail. Sure. But if we're talking about, like, do they have a fine layer of fuzz all over their skin? No more than a regular human.
This is what I call the Final Fantasy XIV mode of furry.
No, you're absolutely wrong. No, you're way off the mark. I'm thinking that Final Fantasy XIV cat people, they are a level step up. They have weird little cat noses, and they very clearly have like stripe markings across their body. They are in fact covered in a fine layer of fur.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so. I don't think that's true.
FF14 cat people.
Yeah, they don't. They very much do not have fur on their body.
I don't know. I'm looking at it. This person has stripes on their face. That indicates fur to me.
That's just stripes, dog. They're not furry, dude. They're smooth skins.
Well, they got weird noses.
They're not dungeon meshy style cat people.
Okay, all right. Well, okay, we got the Final Fantasy X cat people. They do have fur.
Don't care about Final Fantasy X. Dead and gone. Now, the implication of some of the dialogue in Bye Bye Earth is that potentially they may have fur on their bodies because very early on, a human shows up, and part of their weird human slurs that they use is calling her the like no fur.
Okay.
So we can kind of draw our own conclusion there.
That seems like a bit clumsy. I think that smoothie works well. Smooth skin.
Smoothie.
Yeah.
Smooth skin. Smooth skin.
Smooth skin.
Yes, they also call her the featureless, which I find to be hilarious because that's so fucking lazy and human centric. The idea that like even when you're writing for like a complete furry race that does not interact with humans, you still consider the human form to be like the default. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like an alien saying that humans look boring, right? It's like
Yes.
a human to an alien should look as weird and disgusting as they do to us.
Yeah, we're disgusting. We're disgusting creatures.
Oh, God, what is that strange prong he shoots out of his body when he wants to mate?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's fucking awful. The human body is disgusting. We don't need to go down that road.
Look at him secrete juices.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean, your whole thing is the juice stuff. I was thinking more generally, but that's your hang up. Now, the thing about Bye Bye Earth is that it's got a very bizarre structure for an episode 1 of what seems to be kind of a shonen show. These animal creatures seem to have developed sort of a human-ish, almost medieval society, but very like intermingled. All these races are like living together in harmony. It doesn't seem to be a problem. For whatever reason, despite there being no humans at all, they only seem to be racist against humans.
Sure.
Like, not each other. Which is like, okay, well, that's a weird...
It belies a bit of a weird persecution complex, honestly.
It is...
If you think about it, right? If you think about it.
It's strange.
The ethnically diverse horde,
the beast men,
ganging up against the humans.
Yes, the pure featureless human.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's odd. What's more odd is, like I said, the structure of an episode 1 of a shonen. We follow our human who shows up in this animal village. They're all freaking out because some kind of octopus flower is like mucking about in their drinking water. And none of them have any kind of fighting capabilities, so they can't defeat an octopus. Yes.
They have no ability to defend themselves?
Apparently not. Not even the Master Splinters can defeat a single octopus flower.
And let me guess, they need a human to come in and save them from their woeful savagery?
Exactly. Well, from their foolish pacifism. They need a strong man.
I don't like them apples, Tony.
So it's just a little girl shows up and she's got a sword that's about as tall as her own body.
Sure.
And the
Classic.
sword has some kind of bullshit rune on it that apparently later on we find out translates to utopia, which is very funny for its own strange reasons.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
We have a girl killing monster people, talking about a utopia. Love it so far.
Yeah, so the episode is roughly 20 minutes, you know. It's a pretty standard episode. We spend probably the first 10 minutes battling this octopus flower. You know, she's dicing it up. She's doing Devil May Cry shit. Just absolutely swinging that thing around, cutting, slicing. She's covering people with the octopus juices. You know, she's about to do the QTE to finish it off, the coup de grace.
Sure.
And it starts crying, and for some unexplained reason, she has like some kind of psychic connection, and it tells her its sob story. It just wants to like squirt its flower seed eggs into the drinking water, and it doesn't understand what's wrong with that.
It just wants to smash. Come on.
It just wants to asexually smash.
Yeah.
But she doesn't really care. I mean, she gets a little sad about it, but she slices that thing. She cuts it up.
She does the slicing. She does the dicing.
Yeah.
She doesn't give a fuck about whether or not it wants to get its nut off. She's just there to kill.
She may or may not care, but it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop the blade. The blade comes down. And that leaves us with about 10 minutes left of an episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of wanders home after that, after a couple more like weird racist slurs, fantasy racist slurs thrown her way, even though she just like saved all their drinking water or whatever. She goes home to her sensei, her Yoda, who is also a cat man.
Sure, of course.
And there's some weird jokes about how
Wait, why wouldn't the Yoda be a little rat man? Why would he be a cat man?
Probably because it's cooler, because Yoda's a disgusting little freak. And a big cat man who swings a giant sword around is like way cooler than Yoda.
I guess. Yoda can lift a spaceship with his brain.
Yeah, kinda. A little bit. Kind of. So she's like, hey, Sensei, I'm a human. What's up with that? And he's like, yeah, you ask me that like all the time. Do you really want to know this time? Is this the time you're asking like for real? And she's like, well, it's the first episode, so yeah, kinda. I do kinda want to know what the hell's going on.
Hey, what's up with that?
And he's like, okay, all right, I'll tell you what's up with that. But first you must defeat me in ritual combat. And so they just
It's always fucking something. They can't just make it easy.
They can't. He does it. So they just square off out in the front yard. And he's like, listen, this is serious this time. I'm doing like serious ritual combat with you. So you have to kill me. And she's like, wait, what's happening? And he's like, hiya! And he casts like a magic circle that immediately causes her to start having flashbacks that cover the entirety of her life. The clock is ticking down very quickly. We have like 6 minutes left in this episode. We cover an entire season's of television's worth of content just about this girl's like sob story, how she was like an orphan and she was called telepathically to the sword that was kept in the castle's dungeon, and like it awoken in her hands and she like slept with it, and they threw her in a fucking jail cell because she wouldn't give up the sword until this cat man showed up and he decided he was going to train her with the sword, and they went on adventures together. My eyes glazed
over like 45 seconds ago.
Yeah, and he tells her the meaning of the sword runes. He teaches her how to read the sword runes and how to activate the magic.
Oh
and
my
they
God,
go on
I don't
like
care.
journeys
I don't
together.
Care. Just kill the monsters. Just kill the monsters
And
with the
then
big
he's
sword.
like, part of defeating me, you have to kill me, strike me down. And when you strike me down, it'll erase all memories of our times together. And she's like, no. And he's like, you can't do it. You can't back out now. You're already doing it. You're killing me. I'm going to be dead. You're killing me and I'm going to be dead. And you're not even going to remember that we had this conversation. But you will be on your way to discovering what humans are. And she's like, wait, I think I might regret this. And he's like, too bad. I'm going to cut you now. And she slices him down. And the episode ends with her like gazing longingly into the sky at what may or may not be Earth. We don't know.
I thought we went bye-bye to Earth.
Yeah, I thought we went bye-bye to Earth. But then there's a whole ass planet up in the sky. Either it's Earth or the moon is fucking huge on this planet.
I mean, I would prefer a big moon to an existing Earth that we've already said bye-bye to.
I like big moons.
I cannot abide a hi to a bye-bye Earth.
So I was like out of breath. I did not understand what was happening. I felt like I got fucking hammered in the forehead with, I don't know, like an HBO special's worth of like backstory and all this bullshit that just gets rained down on you like your elementary school bully just raining blows. And I didn't retain any of it. I said like probably 1/10 of what actually occurred in the last 6 minutes of the episode because I genuinely can't even like comprehend how much stuff was happening. It was like a Clockwork Orange when they
have his eyes propped open,
yeah,
just showing
my
him
eyes
images.
are propped open, just flashing meaningless images into my brain with no context. And now I feel weird. I feel funny.
Okay, I think we need a break then. I think you need to maybe reformat a little bit.
Yeah, it's not good. Bye-bye Earth. Wow, that's baffling. That's some baffling television.
All right, well, I think we should say bye-bye to bye-bye Earth. Heyo!
Bye-bye.
Love that one.
Bye-bye Earth.
It took me all
podcast.
afternoon to write that joke, you know?
I know. If you could listen to this episode raw, you would hear about an hour's worth of silence.
Okay, let's take a break.
All right, here on Anime Death Spiral, of course, ACAB is the official position of Anime Death Spiral. So
I hate all convertibles.
this is a bit of a tricky topic to approach. I do want to add that, prosecutors for the most part are also cops and feds. But when it comes to anime, I really do believe it's very important to know the law. Anime is, well, let's face it, a lawless criminal underworld where crimes are rampant and essentially completely unopposed.
Dude, let's be perfectly honest. Like, y'all seen the opening of RoboCop? It's like that out there. That's just what it's like existing, in any anime fandom. It's like being in Mega City 1.
Yes, exactly.
Just people constantly shooting at you from all directions, scams aplenty, people trying to rip you off and rob you directly to your face.
Oh, it's like cartoon crookery out there. And I want to stick to that. I think that's a really good way to approach it because, obviously in the real world, RoboCop, as tearfully as I have to put it, is ACAB.
His name was Murphy. He deserves that much respect, god damn it.
Murphy was a cop, and then he was turned into a RoboCop, so he's actually a double cop. So again, as much as I hate to say it, he is double ACAB.
Yeah, he is double ACAB.
In the context of the imaginary megacity, he is a good guy. One could even say he is a bit of a messiah.
I'd like to envision our roles in the greater culture as that of Murphy's, patrolling the streets, protecting the good citizens from the horrible things that are out there.
Yes, let's consider ourselves sort of anime RoboCops, if you will.
Yes.
And as our original RoboCop like to say,
freeze scum.
Freeze scum. Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Yes, absolutely.
In pursuit of that, I thought it would be good to introduce a new series called Anime Law and Order, or simply Anime Crime and Punishment. Take your pick.
We're gonna workshop that one, but yeah, something along those lines.
Anime CSI?
No, I think that already exists.
Anime SVU.
Maybe no. That kind of implies a very specific.
Okay, well
thing.
you're shooting down all my ideas here. Anyway, the point is
we'll circle back to it. Anime Law and Order.
The point is to educate and elucidate. Now, longtime listeners may remember at some point we were doing anime court. We were doing complete trials of individual shows, but I found that to be a bit burdensome. I think it's actually a better approach to just go over the criminal code itself. And where better to start than one of the most enduring anime crimes? Nate, are you familiar with this crime?
Unfortunately, all too well. And I think any veteran anime enjoyer is in the same boat as us, because this particular crime is rampant, absolutely rampant throughout the culture, popping up in the most surprising, inappropriate, inexplicable places. No one is safe, honestly, when you think about it.
Well, I wouldn't say surprising. Now, as much as I'd love to come up with like a little cutesy name for it, I'm unfortunately just going to have to lay it out. The first anime crime we're going to cover is simply incest.
Ooh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Algorithm's not going to like this episode.
No, it's not. Getting demonetized.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. Now, this is an interesting crime because it does have a gradation to it. There are sort of 3 stages of offense to anime incest. Obviously, there is, incest in the first degree. Now, that is literally, let's say,
explicitly blood-related siblings.
DNA match-ass sexual activity.
Yeah.
Or attempted sexual activity in most cases.
Now, as horrible as this is, I will say it is probably the least common, although it still definitely exists out there.
It is the least common, I would say, but that is not to imply that it is uncommon.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
a
pretty
more
common.
elegant way of what I was trying to say. It's there. It's on the list for a reason.
Yes. Now, when I talk about anime incest in the first degree, I am talking about let's say, the infamous Bakemonogatari scene where the main character has, let's say, a very metaphorical, how do I even put this? Encounter, shall we say, with his sister that involves oral insertion.
I don't like that. I don't like it at all.
I don't like it either. Now, this has been memed to death. This is, of course, everybody has seen the gif of...
Oh, you're talking about the toothbrush scene.
Araragi, I believe his name is Araragi, which is really difficult to say.
Araragi.
Inserting his sister's toothbrush into her mouth and brushing her teeth.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting. It's first degree punishment for that one.
Very intense. This is the platonic ideal of first degree anime incest. These characters are very explicitly brother and sister.
The law was written around this in mind.
Yes, these characters are very explicitly engaging in direct sexual activity, despite how visually metaphorical they attempt it. This is like 1 or 2 hours in the back room jury trial, guilty all the way.
Yeah.
First degree incest. There's no question in anybody's mind. The defense attorney basically doesn't even bother with this case. They come to the trial. Their briefcase is empty. He's taking phone calls during testimonies. This is the textbook case. Now, we get into some swampier territory very quickly. Most anime is not Bakemonogatari. Most anime tries to, let's say, dial it back. Maybe...
Or at least, present it in a somewhat negative light.
Yes, let's say...
The first thing that came to mind for me was Revolutionary Girl Utena, where the main villain is possessed of an incestuous lust for his sister. And that is the main...
That's where you're going? That's even more explicit than Bakemonogatari. I was going to say, most shows lampshade this.
They are definitely not... they're definitely not as explicitly graphic as Bakemonogatari in Utena. It's all more,
okay.
Off-screen implication type stuff. Visual implication.
Fascinated by the way your mind works.
There is no shoving of anything in anybody's orifices.
Okay, you're just speaking purely on how it is depicted on screen. I see.
I think that counts for something, but yes.
I meant more lampshaded in the way this is by far your garden variety anime incest in the first degree. Shows like, now this is the most recent example I can think of. This is literally episode 2 of a premiere this season. Anybody who's been keeping up with my dear friend Nokotan has probably watched episode 2 already and discovered that the second named character on the show is the main character's biological sister, who is sexually obsessed with the main character. To the point where it seems like she wants to murder the people around her.
A bit of a fixation.
It's a fixation. This is, of course, what people usually call siscon, if we have to use the cutesy term for it, the sister complex, right?
I mean, I think that we should be speaking to our audience with the childish language that they're used to. So,
You think so?
Yeah, so that it's easy for them to, understand. I don't want to use too many big words. Anime fans generally get angry and impatient when you do.
Okay, we'll talk about it in this way then. This is the textbook example of a siscon relationship. Everything is implied in this context, right? The sister of the main character in Nokotan never comes out and says, I want to have explicit sexual relations with my biological sister. We never get to that point. But she is clearly possessive of her sister's time and body.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we run into in a lot of shows. Now, Nokotan I use as an example because it's the most recent. There's a bit of a recency bias. But we see this in all kinds of things. This is what happens in last season's Buchigiri, the strangely Chun-Li-esque Chinese-coded girl and her brother. She has a bro-con relationship. She is obsessed with him. She is constantly vying for his attention to the exclusion of all other characters on the show. We see this in shows like, and as loath as I am to bring up Sankaria, the show about the guy who likes to date zombies.
Well,
his sister.
Maybe that's not as bad if you're throwing it on top of the pile that already includes necrophilia.
Yes.
I was thinking more like Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl.
Yes, of course.
The main character has a brocon little sister. He is explicitly not a siscon. He likes the bunny girl. I will say that.
Sure.
But he does have a little sister that is implied to be somewhat romantically attracted to him.
Yes, of course. Obviously, this happens in Mashley very early on. One of the characters, I believe his name is Lance, in Mashley, is obsessed with his little sister. That's lampshaded again in a very common way. This sometimes presents itself in, he treats her as if she is a pop idol.
Oh, he's her Oshi.
So he does the whole idol worship thing.
I
but
hate
it's
that.
Of his sister.
I hate that.
I do too. I don't particularly like it. This is also a relationship that's present in Jujutsu Kaisen. Of course, they are cousins. You'll remember the bizarrely braided, silver-haired woman and her silver-haired tiny child cousin have a very strange relationship.
Yeah, in the short pants.
In the short pants.
The child wearing short pants.
They have a very similar relationship. It's, again, lampshaded, not in an idol relationship, but in a sort of, the murkier relationship there. He talks about her in some strange ways.
Now, can I get even murkier than that?
Sure.
What about something like Tenshi Muyo, where the main romantic interest is explicitly his grandfather's cousin? What about that?
His grandfather's cousin.
Yes.
Well, if you're talking about just moving biologically step by step away from the main character, I mean, we could get into all kinds of things. Like,
I mean, it's kind of a weird thing, They do the royal relationship where they're all just fucking each other because they're weird creeps. But his grandfather was an alien prince, and his his betrothed, who was his cousin, then goes on to fall in love with Tenchi. Like that kind of makes it weird, right? It's like
yes.
You don't want to be your grandfather's backup.
No, you don't really want to do that. That is eyebrow raising. I tend to think more like, let's say, Yor's relationship with her brother in Spy Family.
Yes, there's just so many reasons to hate Yuri. He's a cop. He's a Fed.
His name's Yuri.
He's quite explicitly a Nazi, like a literal one.
He is literally a Nazi, and he's a siscon.
He's a siscon. He has no sense of privacy.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Yes.
I hate Yuri.
Now, this is a bit of a lateral move, but I have to say, just from an aesthetic sense, I do think this is somehow even worse than the brocon siscon. But I'm thinking of, let's say, in Hunter x Hunter, Killua's relationship with his mother, who does explicit BDSM stuff with her own son.
Okay, well, that's not great.
It's not great.
The same thing happens in Kill la Kill.
Same thing happens in Kill la Kill. Coincidence? I think not. The parent-child relationship. Like in a recent isekai, Do You Love Your Mom and her 2-hit multi-target attacks.
What?
Yes. The parent-child relationship. This is so bad. We don't even have like a cutesy term for it. It is just straight up incest. This is bad.
Now, can I say something somewhat controversial?
Oh, please.
I think Fire Punch, out of all these, it probably did incest the best.
It did the best incest?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah?
It was explicitly stated and unreciprocated right at the beginning. And then the instigator, little sister, who I am going to describe as a brocon, she gets burned to death in a extremely graphic, horrible fashion.
Yes, it's pretty intense.
Which I think is good. I think that's good.
You like that. You enjoy that. It's your kind of incest.
I said it was controversial.
Sure. I guess that's the good kind. We've covered three kinds.
Yep.
Brocon, ciscon, parent-child, and then whatever the fuck's happening in Fire Punch. Now I want to move on to anime incest in the second degree. This is a very common one. Mm-hmm. And this one is actually much more explicit than the brocon, ciscon mode of anime incest.
I think that it exists explicitly so they can become more explicit.
Yes, this is almost the kind of the less of a lampshade and more of like a curtain pole.
Yeah, it's we're just going to do the thing and say that it's not the thing.
We are, of course, referencing the step-sibling anime incest.
We're beating around the bush a little bit with that one.
This is a very popular subgenre of rom-com at the moment.
Is that what you call them, rom-coms?
I think so. I don't have a better term for them besides step-sibling romance.
I mean, in recent, we've got like Days with My Stepsister, which is the title is it's all right there.
Yes. Mm-hmm. My stepmom's daughter is my ex, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Ooh, horrible.
Yes, this is intense. This is a mode in which I believe the authors are trying to play coy. Maybe in their head, they're playing coy.
I don't think anyone's playing coy. Like I said, this is obviously like we would say otherwise if we were allowed to and still like get carried by our publisher. You know what? It's very similar. I'm going to say it's very similar in spirit to the censorship laws in Japanese adult films, right? It's like, what are those covering for people? We all know what's going on there, but it's like this, they're trying to just put up a facsimile of caring.
Yes. Now, I know you're not, as we've discussed many times, you're not much of a cultured person, but...
Oh, no, I hate other cultures.
In The Wire, which is your culture, by the way, this is called brown bagging.
Uh-huh, yes.
Yes. On the street, you are not allowed to drink alcohol. But you are allowed to drink alcohol when it's brown bagged.
Exactly.
We all know what's happening, but this facsimile...
just like the thinnest layer of
symbological transformation, of cultural transformation.
Plausible deniability.
Yes, plausible deniability, of course. It gives a sense of legitimacy somehow. Mm-hmm. This is the step-sibling rom-com. Now, there's also a level of this. Now, this might be my controversial opinion, but I consider secondary offenses to also include things like Let's Love at the End of the World, where a character is transformed in some way. Sort of, in that case, it's a gender swap. And in that story, the character's brother immediately falls in love with his new sister.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
Similar thing in, what was it, Onimai, Now I'm Your Sister.
Onimai, yes.
Where
now my sister am I.
Yes, the main character is explicitly stated to be like a creep that then gets turned into a little girl.
Yes, I find these to be equally as disgusting.
They're awful. And, you know, yes, I hope as this miniseries goes on, people will understand why we're doing this podcast and why it's important that they understand the things that we truly loathe about anime.
Oh, I think there's...
You know, a good deep dive into our reasoning, I think, is going to illuminate a lot of stuff.
I don't think I need to defend my opinion that incest is bad.
And yet here we are. And yet here we are on this show.
And yet here we are. I consider that a lesser offense. I think that is an anime incest in the second degree because it would be harder to prosecute. That's all.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
That's my final line there. Now, there is, of course, a anime incest in the third degree, and this is the most difficult to prosecute because this is not explicit. This is the fan shipping incest.
No, this is purely within the realm of implication and and fan
Yes,
participation.
maybe not even implication, purely speculation.
Speculative, yes.
Yeah.
Speculative incest.
And of course, this happens all the time, as we know. Fan fiction spares no one and nothing. If you are determined to find fan fiction where two characters are fucking, you can do it. I have utmost faith in your ability to find that.
It's easy. You just go on Google. You can just search for it.
You just Google it.
They'll just let you do it, you know.
They'll just let you do it. It's not illegal yet. But I think there are a couple special cases every once in a while that make this prosecutable. I want to say when I see people being weird about Demon Slayer, for example.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I don't like that either. It's really fucking weird.
Well, especially because on top of being his sister, she's like very clearly like child coded.
She is very child coded. I don't get at me. I've read all of Demon Slayer. I know what happens at the end. So don't fucking come at me with your weird excuses. But I think what's most important is that the relationship between those characters is sometimes intimate in an uncomfortable way, and it allows people very easily to construe, let's say, certain things about what's going on there.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no doubt that the author of Demon Slayer has no intention to imply that there's something romantic going on between that character and his sister, but they also don't do anything to very explicitly deny that. So
yeah.
I think this is prosecutable. In the same way...
Oh, absolutely.
In the same way, I believe we could all kind of, get real with each other. This shit happening in Oshinoko is not okay.
It's not okay.
It's not fucking okay.
I was waiting to get to the big question in the room because Oshinoko is the hot new thing in the anime world right now. Apparently, people seem to love it for some reason.
People love Oshinoko.
I'm assuming, I can only assume, is because people like to speculate that the siblings are in love with each other. Yeah, I think that might be the entire appeal of Oshinoko at this point.
You think that's the whole thing?
It's the entire thing. People don't even care about the dead mom or who the murderer was or like any of the idol stuff. They really, as far as I can tell, just from like the memes that get posted, the posts I see, the comments on those posts, it's all about the incest. People just really like that one thing about it.
Yes, and again, now this one I have not read all of, so, don't come at me for this, but this never gets written into the text, I don't think these characters are ever explicitly considering, like, having a romantic relationship with each other. But this does seem to be, like you said, the entire thrust of Oshinoko's popularity. And you are absolutely right. People do not seem to care about the central mystery that is supposed to be the driving factor of the entire narrative of Oshinoko, which, I wouldn't blame you if you forgot, is a murder mystery.
Yeah, no one knows. No one knows about that. No one cares. Honestly, J.J. Abrams should have fucking got into writing manga with his mystery box style, because he could just keep making stuff up at every turn and no one would care as long as it just kept coming out.
Yeah, if, like, the chick from Alias had a brother and there was, like, a will they, won't they thing throughout the entire show, that could have been still going. There could be 13 seasons of Alias.
It would have been more highly regarded in pop culture than Game of Thrones or The Wire or any of those other shitty HBO shows, because it would be literally the only thing people talk about.
Yeah.
Would be incest Alias.
When's the last time you thought of Jennifer Garner?
Literally never.
Never.
Daredevil? Was she in that? I don't know.
Oh, yes, she was Elektra. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You got that one.
Well, maybe Daredevil should have been her brother in that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If Alias had a brother and she was like weird about it, Jennifer Garner would be the Jennifer. It would be Jennifer Tilly.
No Aniston, no Lopez.
Yep.
Garner supremacy.
Yes, exactly. It wouldn't be Jennifer Lawrence. It wouldn't be Jennifer Jason Leigh. It would be Jennifer Garner everywhere. Now, I am getting in my earpiece. I am getting something. She is in Deadpool and Wolverine. Hold on.
Oh.
She is appearing in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, shit.
As Elektra.
Oh, shit.
Now, I have to assume...
Oh, well, we need to pivot the entire course of this podcast.
Yes, this is blowing my mind. Hold on. Now, we all know the irreverent humor of Deadpool and Wolverine, those famous jokesters.
It's literally a return to classic Laurel and Hardy films.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is a classic comedic duo, and we all know that they tend to like to play it a little blue. So who knows? There's a very real possibility Elektra maybe has some weird incest shit going on.
Oh man, when you said that Elektra was going to be in Deadpool x Wolverine, you know what? I stood up and I clapped. I clapped because I was so happy.
Yes.
And now this is on the table. This possibility that our dreams could finally come true.
I know, right?
For this new Garnersance.
The Garnersance is imminent, people. You know, they said in test screenings, grown men initially, when they saw Jennifer Garner in the Elektra costume for the first time in many, many years, they began to cry real tears.
Tears they didn't even show their dead fathers.
Yes. So we might be in for a hell of a ride. This might actually change the whole fucking game.
All right. So, I mean, does this change our opinion on the subject?
I can't tell you yes or no. We're going to have to wait until Deadpool cross Wolverine comes out.
Okay.
I guess we have to put this anime crime on hold.
Yeah.
We're going to have to revisit this anime crime in the future.
We're going to have to put this entire anime podcast on hold. When we come to you next time, this will be Deadpool x Wolverine Death Spiral.
Yes, and Suicide Squad Isekai will probably have wrapped up by then when we come to revisit this.
I'm still hoping that Deadpool shows up by the end of that series.
You know, Deadpool is a very meta character. You know, he can be anywhere at any time, so there's still a chance he'll show up in Isekai Suicide Squad. So we'll be talking about Deadpool 100% in the future. We will be revisiting this. I guess until then, I think we should maybe call it for now. That's been a lot of incest. Maybe more incest than I ever wanted to talk about in my entire life.
Yeah, I'm honestly uncomfortable with this whole thing. My poor wife has had to listen to me talk about this in the background.
Oh, the last thought. Let me just do a last thought here. I have siblings. So...
Oh, God. What are you trying to say? I don't...
You have siblings, too. Well, one.
Well, technically, yes.
You have a sibling. No, I think very, very firmly and factually, yes, you definitely do.
Yeah. Okay. Where are you going with this?
The people who are into this, they don't have siblings.
Oh. Well, yes. I thought that was pretty obvious.
We didn't even say it.
No, we didn't even
get into it.
Yeah.
It didn't even occur to us in lining this anime crime up, but I do think it bears saying.
And if they do have siblings, that is even more cause for alarm, honestly.
People who are into this do not have siblings. And if you are into this and you do have siblings, that becomes not an anime crime, that becomes a real crime.
That becomes a real crime. That becomes a real world crime.
You need to go to dungeon immediately. You deserve dungeon. Okay, all right. That has been Anime Death Spiral.
Oh, God. Okay, you got to cut a lot of this out.
Yeah, this is going to be heavily edited. When you hear the long beeps, just fill in the gap with your own imagination, okay? We've done enough work. I need to take a break. Whew.
He needs to tap out. Go cool down.
Yeah.
Tend to your garden. Dear, lovely, tall, beautiful, handsome listeners, thank you once again for sticking it out with us through the thick and the thin. Cest.
Don't you start. Don't you start.
Follow us on TikTok. You know, I'm going to do puns every now and then. Go follow us on Blue Sky. We upload the episodes to YouTube. Like us, subscribe. Do that.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't do it, I'm going to start putting these calls to action at the beginning of the episode, so you have no choice but to listen to it.
And I'm going to start emailing them to you, like in your inbox. You will have to deal with it one way or another.
Yeah, no, we paid, honestly, not that much money to get a lot of people's emails very easily. The technology is out there. People are doing it. We have your info.
It's like $20.
Yeah, it's not that much.
Yeah, and you get everything. I know where you live. I know who your parents are. I know the names of your ex-girlfriends and boyfriends.
Yeah.
You should be scared. You should be scared of this show.
And with that thought, bye.
Bye. time trying to think of something funny. Why would I do that? That's too much. I forget sometimes, and I think maybe I should put effort in, but then I remember.
It's just the anime podcast.
It's just the anime podcast.